Hello and welcome to the Game Shed with me, Mark. Today I'm going to do an unboxing video for you, and as you can see, the unboxing is of the Retron 5. Now, we grabbed this from Funstock, which is seemingly the only place in the UK you can grab this at the moment. Now, we bought this as a package deal, and it came with the Retron 5 with a controller in the box and an extra controller. Now, we couldn't do without having two controllers because at the Game Shed, if you watch our videos, we love a multiplayer game. Now, this will serve many purposes. This will allow us to capture retro gaming via HDMI and will also allow us to use our original controllers. We can use these wireless ones if we want, but it also has the option for NES controllers, SNES controllers and Genesis/Mega Drive controllers. So without further ado, let's open up this bad boy. So what I'm going to go for first is the controller, and as you can see, it's a lovely little box. Hyperkin have done this angle here on both boxes, and it's a really nice little touch. So I've taken the tape off the box. You might want to have a knife handy just in case you feel that you just want to slice it open and hurry up. First thing I see in the box is a charging cable. It looks quite long for those times when the wireless controller is dead. Next up is the controller itself. Now, size wise, you can kind of get an idea as per the size of my hand, and oh, listen to that, it's got a clicky joystick. Very nice, and holding it, it's got an angle at the back so you can hold the controller comfortably like this and use these shoulder buttons. So we've got two shoulder buttons. We've got the charging port at the top, as you can see there. We have a home, start and select there as well. Couple of buttons randomly on the top left and right. Presumably you can map all these to the games you're playing. Now, there's 6 buttons here. I suppose you can just map these to the buttons that you want, but just feeling it there, it feels very nice. It's quite light, it's a little bit plasticky. Looks like Tommy's my first controller, but still it feels really nice, and the clicky joystick is sort of very reminiscent of the Neo Geo Pocket. Not quite as nice, because not many things will be as nice as that. So there you go. That's the controller. Now onto the main event. I'm going to open this big old box and try and get inside. Right, so the box is open. I've taken the tape off carefully so as not to damage it. And as you can see, let's slide out the console itself. So just quickly, the second controller, exactly the same. Feels very nice. Pop that down there. We have got an HDMI cable. It looks quite long, maybe 1.5 meters, so that's good. We've got another charging cable, a long one again. Power adapter. So I slot that in there, click, and I have my UK power adapter. I'm just going to pop those cables on the side and get to the console itself. Look at that. So that is the console. You can kind of gauge how big it is by the size of my hand there. I'm just going to hold it up so you can see. On the front here, you will notice there's a power button right there, and also, if you can see there's 5 lights, and what it's telling you is which type of game you're playing. So there's a Game Boy Advance there, there's a Famicom, there's a NES, Super NES, and a Mega Drive controller. Let me just put that there and you'll be able to see it. So that's a nice little addition. It tells you which one you're playing. If you didn't already realise which one you're playing, by the time you've put the cartridge in, then if you need it, there's the help. It's the back right there. On the back you can see you've got a slot for an SD card. Next up, you've got HDMI, USB, so you can charge your controller here like that, and then you've got your power adapter there. On the side here you've got an NES port with these lovely little rubber covers, Genesis port, and your SNES port. So as you can see, these say, I'll see if you can zoom in on that, ports: SNES 2, NES 2, Genesis 2. Turn to the other side, as you can see the rubber covers again. It's a very nice little touch that. It means that the dust won't get into the controller ports. Genesis 1, NES 1 and SNES 1, SNES 1, however you want to call it. At the back of the Retron 5 you have space to put your controller in like that. Unfortunately there isn't space for this second controller to sit in the console, which is a bit of a letdown, but what can you do? It has got space for the one controller, and obviously you can just hide that round the back. So what are we looking at now? You can see the slots here and the slot at the front. Now I happen to have a Game Boy Advance game there, so I can show you the front slot. That literally slots in like that. Very simple. Next up we have the Famicom Slot. Unfortunately I don't have any Famicom games here, but I would show you otherwise. Next up is the NES slot. As you can see, you take your NES cart and you slot it straight in. The cartridge does sit a bit tight in there, but I'm sure it will loosen the more you take it out and put it in. Not sure if I read about that being a problem, but it seems fine, sits in nicely. Next slot we've got here is the Snez Slot. So I do have a SNES title here. Shaq Fu, look at that. First game I grab and it's Shaq Fu. That slot's straight in there, fits nicely, doesn't feel too tight. Pull that out. And the last slot here is the Genesis slot. So I do happen to have a Genesis game here, and that just slots in at the back there. Look at that, Sonic and Knuckles. So as you can see, all the cartridges fit in beautifully. I don't have any Famicom games like I said, but we do have some back at Jamie's. That is the Retron 5, and it is an absolute beast. So I touched on it earlier very briefly, but this is an HDMI compatible device. So when you're capturing your footage using a Hop-Og Rocket or something similar to that, you can just use the HDMI. It's that simple. So retro gaming has never been so easy to capture. The last thing to touch on briefly is just the instruction manual and a set of stickers. Look at that. Hyperkin, play well, live well. Retron 5 for GBA, SNES, NES, Genesis, Famicom. Let me grab that GBA game again. Slot it in there. And there you go, you can see it's almost fully loaded. Just minus that Famicom game. But yeah, you get a bunch of stickers there and your instruction manual here. A couple more things to mention before I finish this video. You can use a power-based converter which will let you play Master System games, and that is using the Genesis or Mega Drive slot here. So if I had a power-based converter with me here, you put that in first, you put the Master System game in, and then you can play Master System games as well. The final thing to point out at this stage is that you can play more than just Game Boy Advance games. It doesn't have to be Game Boy Advance. You can play, just grab my Game Boy here, you can play Game Boy original games as well. They just slot in exactly the same. Outside of that you can also play Game Boy Color games. So there's an absolute ton of games that you can play on this. There's 8 different systems catered for, and it all outputs via HDMI, so you get the clearest picture possible. So that is the Hyperkin Retron 5. It is available in the UK now, so we're chuffed to bits. I'm going to go away right now, plug this in and give it a good old test. I will be uploading videos of footage captured by this, so keep your eyes on the channel. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you later.
Now this will enable me to play this on this.
We're playing Off-Road Challenge
We are indeed. It's an arcade game
with 8 new super action tracks.